Hey guys. Okay.
Beep. Come here, Milo. Good. Lay down. Sit. Well, Milo also watched the movie with us, so he can tell us his thoughts. Okay. And action. Okay. Hey guys.
Silenzio, Bruno. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the new movie, Luca. So it came out today. I actually was watching it with my brother earlier today, but he had to go to work, so I stopped it at the best part. And then I continued it with my sister later during the day, and we just finished it. It was pretty good. I personally enjoyed it. My sister's back. Oh, sorry about that. My sister's back from, the Corella review. Queen Karina. Definitely subscribe. She plays lots of fun games and she's gonna do more stuff soon, maybe, who knows. But hey, here she is.
Hey guys, what's up? It's me, Carrie. I missed you guys. We just finished watching the new Disney Pixar movie Luca. It's about this little fish guy who wants to adventure out into the world so he can also become human. And where do you want to start?
Probably at the beginning, right? We just finished it, so it's like fresh in our minds. It was very interesting in the beginning. It was very like Little Mermaid-like, right? He's in the water and he's like curious about human things, right? But I think with this one, there was a lot more potential for a different story, because there was a whole like, don't go to the surface. I'm not gonna lie, I can't go ahead and compare it with Little Mermaid, because believe it or not, all these classic movies, I feel like I'm pretty sure I've watched them before, but I never really sat down and really, I don't really know what Little Mermaid's about. I gotta sit down and really watch it. But this one, I guess, let's say it's about the same thing, right? So he wants to go out into the world, but their family,
similar kind of,
most likely. It's
wants to explore the human world.
I'd say maybe Little Mermaid might be a little bit better, because just so you guys know, this is a full spoiler podcast here, but at least I'm gonna say this now because it definitely affected how the movie ended. Little Mermaid, for example, had a villain, right? This one, they had an antagonist,
like an enemy.
Yeah, but no villain. So like the ending and the resolution with him, it was okay. To be honest,
when I first saw the trailer, I wasn't really that excited to see it, because I actually did watch the trailer for this one. It just didn't really seem that I don't know, it didn't really grab my attention. Just I immediately got Little Mermaid vibes, because under the water creature who wants to see what's in the real world. And then they call it they're land monsters, the family's they're land monsters, you shouldn't go on land, blah 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 blah. But then I don't know, he eventually ends up going with his friend Alberto. That's the other sea creature that drags him out of the water and stuff like that. And they just kind of explore this little town, and they meet a friend, and I don't know, it just kind of all happened in a week,
I'd say at least a week, because there's a few days where it's night and day. But I'm pretty sure it's a week. I'm the same. The movie definitely is very pretty, and I was I definitely enjoyed the trailer. I did my reaction to it when I don't know if it was the official trailer or a teaser trailer, but definitely check out that video on the channel.
Trailer,
I'll most likely leave a link. You can check it out, leave a like. But I'm the same.
I don't know, I don't know. It's I understand that there's sea creatures and stuff like that, and they explored the town. I just kind of wish that it wasn't, because so there was this kind of side story where they're trying to win this race. There's the character. It just seems everything was about the race.
So I feel it's so weird that the whole movie is about a race when it's creatures from the ocean, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I feel they really, really focused on that. And when they could have done so much more. I wish they would have been hey, we're sea creatures. Come visit our world, because we're humans, we already know what the human world is like. Why wouldn't it be the other way around, where they want a human to see that, hey, Okay, because they eventually find out that they're sea monsters, and the entire movie, everyone's like, "Oh my God, sea monsters! We gotta kill them! They're evil!" Like blah blah blah. And then they find out, and they're like, "Oh, okay." Like I wish the story was more like the girl finds out that they're sea monsters early on, and then they bring her to their world and kind of explain to them, hey, like, we're just like you, we have families, we have jobs, like, you know, like,
there was so much more potential, because like, for example, like there were so many like things they could have done, right? Like you know, the villain of the story is just this kid who's like a bully because he, you know, he thinks he's the best because he keeps winning the race, but it's obviously just because he keeps I don't think he, not that he cheats, because definitely he cheats in the race, but I feel like it's just like, you know, he's been doing it for all these years that he probably knows what to do. But like, you know, he was being a bully for no reason. Like there was a good potential like story arc to like, oh, my dad maybe like got killed by one of the sea monsters, right? His fish got sunk, and that's why I hate sea monsters. Or even like the dad, you know, he was like the best. He was like the one like, oh, I'm gonna go hunt these, and like he was missing an arm too. Like that was a perfect opportunity to be like, and they even teased it. They're like, oh, one of the sea monsters ate it, and it's like, oh no, I was just born like this. I'm like, that would have been perfect. I think here, let me give you a good story on Luca. Right, the dad hates sea monsters. Let's say, you know, they took his arm.
No, it's like
blah
crazy
blah blah.
because
And like then
like,
you know, that's when the daughter also hates sea monsters, and then they show her.
Yeah, because okay, in the entire film they're always like, in this town everyone hates sea monsters. Everyone's trying to capture them. They always fish them. You know, there's even a reward, like whoever catches one.
Yeah.
And like, it's whatever.
Yeah,
like, bro.
at the end,
like people should be like, oh my God, they're real. Like blah,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah. Like. No, it was just kind of like disappointing.
Like there's like good little bits and bad. Like at the end, like the way the dad reacted, that would have been perfect if there was a more connection. Because I know that they like him and Arbento made a little bit of connection, but it was hinted at, not really like like the only thing that was like, oh, he kept, like for example, he called them to help, like, you know, when like while for example Luca and I forget her name, and the girl would hang out. You know, that's when Luca, Julia or whatever. Julia. But like, you know, while they're exploring and talking about the stars, they could have like shown him and the dad bonding and talking about, like, there was so much stuff that we could have done to make it more impactful.
Alberto, like when Luca finds Alberto, like, he's by himself, and he's like, oh yeah, like my dad lets me do whatever I want, like blah blah blah, like I'm pretty much free. And then later on you find out that the dad had just left him, and so he's always alone by himself. That's why he always just does whatever he wants, because he's alone. So that would have been a good opportunity for Julia's dad to, like, it would have been really cool if maybe, like how you said, like while Julia and Luca were together, because they become like really good friends, like they could have shown Alberto, and I don't think they ever said his dad's name.
Maybe, but yeah.
But the dad, Julia's dad, they could have, like, I don't know, go out and get fish, and he'd be like, oh, why do you hate sea monsters? Like, what's your backstory? Blah, blah, blah. Like, why do you, whatever. And then while he's fishing, he gets water on him, and then maybe the dad would have found out, and he maybe would have understand Alberto a different way. You know, it would have been cool if they had that connection so that when they finally realized that, they are sea monsters, he would have had the reaction that he did, because he already had that connection previously. You know, like how are you going to be so accepting, like, right away after having a lifelong hatred fishing,
And I feel like it could have been like, there was so many other stuff they could have like implemented, like maybe now thinking about, like, because I'm brainstorming here, how do I make the story a little more impactful, and I thought about it, like, look, so let's say, I don't know how he lost his arm, but he did in fact lose his arm to a sea monster, right? But that sea monster was Alberto's dad, who, like, and then so obviously, like, he took his arm, and then the thing is, Alberto's dad didn't leave him, he was killed. And so there's like a 50-50 thing. So like now, you know, you know, the dad is like Julia's dad it's like, okay, maybe I was wrong, you know, and that's why he accepts him, and then vice versa, like they forgive each other, and then they, like, that would have been like, yo, I mean that would have I'm thinking of like a shocking moment. Like the only shocking moment of the movie, there was two, right? Okay, one was when they finally revealed that they were sea monsters, and then, like, you know, Alberto was like, see, we're sea monsters. Like, look, she's scared of us. And then, out of, like, right away, Luca's like, oh my god, sea monster. Like, he betrayed Alberto. And I was like, oh my god, you really did that? Like, no hesitation. Like, he was like, yeah, see? And then he, like, it's like when you get caught doing something and he's like, oh shit, like you did it? Like, he did it? Like, when you play Among Us and someone thinks you're being punched, like, no, I found you. You killed the guy. It was you. Man, it was that, right? Because obviously that's a good turning point. And then there was actually at the end like other sea creatures hidden. Okay, so that was shocking. But
like at the end, so basically what happens at the end, like they go on this race and then they end up winning, obviously because they're the protagonists. Obviously they're gonna win. And so it's raining, so then the people find out that they're sea monsters. But I guess since they're just like kids, like. Maybe they're just not afraid of them and stuff like that. And then, whoop-de-doo, everyone's so accepting. And then they're like, well, I mean, they won, so congratulations. Like, it's just, I don't know. Like, I feel like the more I talk about it, I feel like I kind of don't love it. I don't really like the
beginning
movie.
was good, and then like it's a strong beginning and middle, but then the ending is weak.
Yeah, like
even the race didn't feel all that big. Like,
honestly, yeah, like the race was probably like a 10-minute clip.
Exactly.
Like,
all this build up for the race that didn't last. Like, I think just because in the end they all get mad at each other and they split up, right?
Mm-hmm.
A better, like, there was already a perfect, like, okay, because I noticed, I don't know why Julia was the one who swam when she the whole time was riding her bike, and there was this one moment where she's like, yeah, personal best. Like, each of them, well, not each of them, but like, for example, Luca and Julia were doing the opposite thing. Like, I thought they were gonna be like, I can't go up this hill, blah blah blah, and then it's up to Julia to do the bicycle, and then like in the end, that would have been better. Like, they had like, no choice, and then I'll swim. And then that would have been like where they reveal everything, and then maybe and then that's when, and then you would have had all the fishermen like, oh, he's a fish, and everybody's surrounding him. But obviously, it would change the rating so high, like from PG-13 for PG to PG-13, like
I mean, not even like you could always make like a kid scenario type thing, but I don't know. Like there was just so many possibilities, but then like one little thing, and then you're just like, oh, like.
Yeah. I just feel like it's okay, not
so
just
like,
this.
And so there's like this scene when like Julia and Luca start getting close together when he wants to like learn, like because Alberto was like, oh yeah, stars, like for him they were just like little fish in the sky, like that's where fish go to sleep. Mm-hmm. And then Julia's like, no, those are stars. Here's like a book, here's the universe, and obviously, like. In that sense, it kind of makes sense, Luca doesn't know about all this stuff, obviously, like, but I mean, at the same time, it's like, they're still fish, like, they're still, like, sea creatures, like, I feel like they should still have knowledge of what stars are, like, maybe?
No, because, like, since you don't see it, you don't really think about it or
like,
question
do
it.
you not see it, though? Because it's like, what day and night is, like, what... like, I don't know. Like, I feel like, oh yeah, that's the sun and that's the moon. And, like, not a fish. Like, you live underwater. Fish live underwater. Like, if you've never gone up to the surface, how would other fish go up to the surface? Yeah. Like, it was just kind of like a stupid little,
fairy tale.
Yeah, like, I don't know. And then, at that point, you kind of start to see Alberto kind of be a little bit jealous. That Luca's, like, finding a new friend. And wants to do all these things, like other new things that don't involve him. And I feel like
at first it bothered me. I was like, why are you so jealous? But like since the dad left, it's like, oh, they're leaving me again.
Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't catch that, I guess.
Yeah, and that's what I thought too, because I can catch those things. I was like, why are you so? I thought it was maybe he liked them and they were trying to like pair them together, like but it could most likely just be that because like. They never even, like, and that's so weird, just to explain, like, why would the dad leave him? Like, there should have been so much more deeper connection there, but that's the only thing I imagine. But I don't know.
Yeah. Milo, you watched the movie too. What do you think?
So our dog was here and... Oh, shit. Whoa. Anyways,
Milo, what do you think?
I wonder if you can hear that.
Yeah, if you guys heard that was Milo's intake.
He watched it, but I don't know. I just feel like he was more tired than anything.
He was just wanting our food.
Yeah.
Like,
but and that too, we had some food. We had some pasta in celebration of this Italiano movie. Had some fettuccine alfredo. Yeah.
Technically, fettuccine alfredo is an Italian, actually.
Okay.
I don't know where I saw that. I think I saw it on TikTok. If any one of you people are happen to be Italian can confirm that. Milo, sit.
But I mean, a beautiful movie, of course. It's
of course,
just,
the animation was good, and
yeah.
like the transitions between like the fish, and that was like another thing too. Like they just instantly get changed. But I'm like, how do they dry themselves that fast? I'm like, yeah, because okay, like if you, for example, get out of the shower and you wipe yourself, you're just spreading the water.
Yeah, you don't get dry. Like, or like, what if you're sweating? What if you're crying? There's a few moments when they were like gonna cry in their human forms. I'm like, it's not gonna change you.
I was gonna say that too. But maybe it's like a genetic mutation.
I'm pretty sure these because these are like what, half merman.
Like how do they know that what tears are? Like they don't know what tears are. They live underwater. So like okay, for example, I watched this movie Aquamarine. Like she's like a mermaid, right? And so she gets out of land, whatever. Like she gets on land, and then there's one scene where she's like crying, and she's like, what is happening? It's like, what is wrong with my face? And then the girl's like, you're crying. Yeah, right, Milo? Yeah. But like, yeah, and then she's like, of course you never noticed before. Yeah, like, do you ever cry in the shower and you don't notice, like?
No. But I feel like that makes sense because like some things they explain really well, but other things they don't. Like for example, when they were trying to stand up and walking, yeah, that was a good way of kind of trying to figure it out.
Okay, but at the same time, they have feet, they have legs.
Yeah, but they don't use them. They're always floating. But for example,
but they still have them.
I don't know.
Like if you're gonna. What?
But for example, like what about when he told him to breathe? I'm like, doesn't air feel different than water? Because when he was breathing, like when he was born in the beginning, he was breathing like out air. You know, like he wasn't breathing in air, he was breathing it out, and so like he made the bubbles. So I'm like, how do you know the difference? I don't know. It's little stuff like that I was like don't dwell on it. You know, when I was talking with my brother earlier, I think we were talking about something, and then that I was like questioning, but he's like, don't dwell on it, because then it's like the little things.
Yeah.
You know, like
I don't know, and it's just like I don't know. Like, okay, you know what I also didn't realize? I didn't realize that they had clothes underwater.
Oh yeah? No, I saw it too, but it's just for us. But I'm like, why would they need clothes? Right? That's why my theory about them just being like mutated humans is more
because
they even like act like fam. They're not like they don't act like fish. They just act like people underwater.
Yeah, they like act like people underwater, and they kind of look like people underwater. There's just the gills and the tail, but you can still see arms and legs.
Exactly. So they're it's
I don't know, like
I don't know if COVID affected this at all. Like I said, it had a good strong and middle. Like that's the weird thing. I mean, I feel like the more movies I've watched, I've noticed that it's that. Like, it's some movies are better at the end, but most movies are like the beginning and middle are always the best, because the beginning you're learning everything, and the middle the twist comes in, and then the end is where like I don't know, it makes it or break it for you. Like it's either they executed it well or they didn't. Here, I feel like there's a lot of stuff that was rushed and you were expecting more. But overall, it's like a 50-50 movie. It's really cute and enjoyable. Like it's fun. But like, for me, I was hoping for more.
Story-wise, I feel like, to be honest, I'm gonna give it a pretty low rating, like a 4 out of 10 maybe. Yeah. Because I just feel like it really had a lot of potential. Like they're sea monsters, you know, like they look out of the world, you know, like and there's been a lot of sightings. Like, why don't these people like scuba dive? Why don't these people do more investigations? Like they're just like, oh, let's just go fishing and see if we see something. I don't know. But like there was just so much you could have done, you know, like again, like the whole thing with Julia's dad and Alberto, like he could have been the father figure, which by the way, Luca was starting to learn things, so he's like, wow, there's so much to learn, like, and then she tells him about school, and he's like, wow, I want to go to school. And then like just like at the end, like this is what pretty much the ending of the movie, like the parents like, the whole reason that they started this race was because they wanted money to buy a little like scooter thing, right? That was Alberto and Luca's like
goal. A moped,
like a
Vespa.
moped, yeah, like it was called like a Vespa, yeah. So they were like, oh yeah, let's buy this so we can explore the world, like we can, you know, travel in human form and then, you know, be together because we're both fish, you know, we get each other. And so they team up with this girl because she's also racing, and so they can make a group. It's like a triathlon type of thing. And, you know, eventually, like, they finally get it, blah, 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 because they win the race. And then, out of nowhere, Alberto, like, trades it in for, like, a train ticket, which, one, I don't even think it would cost that much. You know what I mean? Like, a whole moped versus a train ticket. I don't know. Which I thought was kind of silly. But then, you know, he's like, oh, yeah, this is great. Like, you would think that they're going together. That was, like, the whole plan. So that way they're not leaving. But then Luca just goes by himself, and then his mom is like, okay, have fun. Like, their parents. Oh, by the way, yeah, we haven't mentioned the parents. The parents. I think
a little bit. I mean, they I was gonna mention them because that's the thing too. They obviously go in after their son, but they're sidelined. You know, they are looking for their son.
Like.
And then, like, if you're not gonna do anything big, then don't bring him in, because even like they even found out during the race, and they still didn't do anything. Like, I thought if like the mom caught up to him right before the race and they had like a speech or something emotional.
Yeah, because so like the parents were looking for Luca the entire time because they had found out that he went up to the surface and got out of the water and became human and whatever, or like had a human form, and so they went out and looked for him, but then the whole movie they're just throwing water at these little kids to see if they transform. Really, like, you're really not gonna recognize your own son. Like, I feel like
she did in the end. Like, she just saw him as, oh, it's him, because parents just know.
Yeah, but then like, so they're in this race, and then they finally see him, and then he's like, yeet. I'm gonna keep racing, and then they're like, well, okay.
Well, he's fine.
It was just too much of acceptance, like, when there should have been like
more conflict, argument,
like conflict leading to acceptance, because there was like problem, right? There was like problem, but there wasn't really like a conflict to go to solution. Yeah, it was just problem solution. Like they didn't really show anything being resolved. They were just like, oh, even though we're your parents and you escaped the world we live in and whatever, we're just gonna let you run away again, but with our acceptance. Like, and then like the grandma pretty much knew the whole time, you know, like, because like the grandma, like, she's old, obviously she's gonna visit the town, you know,
she didn't teach her kid enough. Like, if she, like, what the hell.
Like, I hate movies like that though, because like if the grandma was like all for it, like, why wouldn't she teach her daughter for her to teach her son?
It's the same thing with Moana.
Yes.
Like, the grandma was
the grandma was like, yeah, girl, go enjoy, like, whatever, like, get the rock, and then the dad, and then she only gets to leave when the grandma dies. Like, you're not leaving them to die. Yeah,
and obviously, like, and it's always the same thing. Like, the parents always accept because everything turns out right. Like, oh, you saved the world, perfect. Like, if Moana came back dead, it's be like, no, we're not ever leaving. Mm-hmm. Or even this kid, if this kid gets impaled with all these freaking harpoons they keep throwing at him.
Like, I don't know. Like, I just feel like they definitely could have done so much more. And, like, so, like, Luca just leaves. So it's just like, okay, so, like, then what?
And, like, what happens? Like, what if, you know, so what's going to happen? Like, you can accidentally splash yourself with water, right? Like, I don't know.
Yeah, so he just thinks that one town is going to be the equivalent of the rest of the world.
Yeah, and if he's going somewhere bigger. School, you know how mean kids are?
Yeah.
You thought Ernesto, whatever his name was mean? Yeah. Just wait for, like, school bullies and...
Yeah, and then like they just also cut to Luca just hanging his head out the train, and it's raining, so he's like all in his like fish form. But then, like, does Julia know that he's coming with her?
Yeah, like, I think she just went in.
No, they do know, because
the mom,
Alberto, like,
yeah.
But then like they don't see them sitting down together. Like, they're such good friends. They should have at least been like, oh, I'm so happy.
She should have been in that ending shot too.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't know. Maybe there's a second movie, but I don't know.
I don't know. Like, I just. If they have a second movie, we got lots of ideas for you writers. Right, Milo?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyways.
Milo's just looking at this little snack.
But yeah, I think it's because like I didn't expect a lot from this movie. It's just looked cute.
Honestly,
we're just waiting for more Disney movies.
Like, for Disney, Pixar, like.
For Pixar, yeah.
Like, story-wise, they could have done better. Like, I feel like the animation is there. Yeah, sure.
Duh,
but like, story-wise, you guys, I don't know. I honestly feel like if you want to watch it, you know, it's not really that long of a movie, and it's definitely. Oh yeah, it's free with the Disney Plus subscription.
Oh yeah, I guess you're right.
You know, yeah, like,
but yeah,
it's included with the Disney Plus subscription, or I think it might be in theaters. I'm not 100% sure, but I don't know if this one was in theaters or not. I think it might have been, but
I don't know. Yeah, I think they're saving. That's why this one's free. I think because I hear Cruella might have been in theaters, but I don't know.
Was in theaters.
Yeah, and that's why you have to pay. But this one is strictly streaming.
Yeah, and what do you think, Milo?
You think we should pay? Well, we already saw Cruella. Like, thankfully, you know, I at least I like Cruella more than I did the other one. But like,
for sure.
I mean, I feel like Pixar always does pretty well, but this one's okay. Like, I know their next project is gonna be the Monsters Inc. show.
Oh yeah, I can't wait for that
on that. I was gonna react to the official trailer, but there was nothing really new that they showcased, just an extended version, I guess. So, but I hope it's a series, so hopefully it's better. But again, it's a series, and I don't think they're gonna it is a sequel, you know, to everything.
Okay,
like,
but
they're moving forward,
I feel like
Luca
could have been done really well as a series, because they could have gone more in depth into them. Like, they could have just got into those conflicts. I think
everything we're saying, like, if they want to extend Luca, just do a series on it, like an 8-part episode.
But like, honestly, like, you could do 100 episodes and still, like, you know,
I mean, it's just there's a lot of stuff they wasted. Like, I don't know. Like, for example, you can remove some of the dream sequences, or maybe even a little bit of the space explanation to showcase all this stuff.
Like, okay, I just feel like they explained a lot of the human stuff, which, yeah, for Luca, that's it. But obviously, as a watcher, you wanna know about what Luca is.
Yeah, like, for example, and I think I don't know if I mentioned this, but like, I watched this a little bit earlier with my brother, and we, like I said, left it off at the beginning, and I rewatched it with my sister. But obviously, I was kind of falling asleep because I've already watched that section. But as soon as we got to the new stuff, I was wide awake, and it's because of that. We want to see something new, something we haven't seen. So like, it would have been better if, like, you know, if he's going out to the world, let him explore a little bit more. I mean, I guess that makes sense.
Like,
but to be just such a triathlon thing, like, then just like, either make the movie about just Italian kids dealing with this, and not a fish out of water.
Yeah, you know? like the story about the triathlon thing could have been like new kids coming into town, like, whatever, maybe from like a different city or something, and then they meet up with Julia.
It could have just been like, it could have been that like, it could have just, if they want to keep the story they did, just change the whole movie, like, just make it not the whole movie, but change the theming, like Luca and Alberto, like, they want to, you know, compete, but they hear that, you know, every year it's won by the same person, and so they, I don't know, do something. That could have been one thing, but this, you have a whole premise where, like, people hate the fish, blah blah blah, like, that you missed and kind of ignored, or like just kind of mentioned.
Yeah, like, they don't even just mention it. They made a whole big deal about it.
Yeah.
The entire movie.
The entire movie. Yeah.
Like, rewards, people with spears and baboons or harpoons, like those things.
Baboons.
Yeah, harpoons. Like, you know, like, I don't know, like, it just. I don't know, you guys. Like, I don't want to say bad stuff, but I mean, it is what it is.
Like, it was alright. It wasn't great, but it was alright.
Mm-hmm. But I mean, if you want to watch it and see for yourself, I mean,
it's a fun movie. Like, we enjoyed it. We still, like, had fun and stuff. But
like, the concept is there.
Yeah, I think just me. I'm recently been, like, re-getting into, you know, more film stuff. Obviously, like, I'm starting to do stuff here on the channel. I've been recently even doing more artwork for you know, just because like I said, I love animation, so who knows. But, like, I just love storytelling, and, like, when there's stuff that they could have done better, you know, you're like, I could have done that better, like, or like, I would prefer this and that. But you know, I don't want to get too crazy about it. It's just a, you know, regular animated movie. I just feel like, you know, I don't know, it could have been something, but again, don't know if it's the virus kind of, like, affecting this for whatever reason.
To be honest, I feel like with the virus, you could have kind of focused on it more, almost.
Yeah, because you're like,
like you're basically home all day. Like, it's like, what timeline do you have? I mean, like, sure, I'm sure there's timelines, but it's like, the story, definitely. could have been better in my opinion.
Yeah, like you have stuff there to make your story better, but maybe Disney themselves like, no, too dark. Or,
I don't know. Maybe
and
what
Pixar's
the
been dark before, like
was right. Like I don't know what the thought process was. Like, like they have for sure made, you know, like dark stuff, like I said, like, and not even to make it dark, but just more like intense
and like something for us to feel more connected with. Because this is like, okay,
like I understand it's also geared toward children, but I feel like even like a kid would probably be like, I don't know.
No, a kid would probably like it, but for us, what we see, like what could have been.
Yeah. Well, you guys, I don't know. This is pretty much our thoughts. Like we pretty much talked about the entire movie. Like really,
definitely. Because that's the thing. That's pretty much it. There's nothing like crazy to talk about. It's just a fun movie. But yeah, I mean, if you guys seen it, let me know what you guys thought down in the comments. Do you agree with us? Do you think it was okay the way it was, or do you think that what we said could have been better? If you watched it, do you have any ideas on how you would do it? If not, I mean, here's hoping the next Disney Pixar movie is another like emotional one. Like I felt like some cute moments, like, oh, that's cool, but nope, didn't cry, and people always say like, oh, this Pixar movies make you cry, but like, yes, I want you to make me cry, I want you to feel something.
Yes.
But
like,
nothing.
Yeah, like was Soul a Disney Pixar movie?
Yeah.
Oh my god, Soul.
And Soul, like, yeah,
so
Soul, because it hits
to be honest,
about
like the first time I had watched it, I really liked it, and then I had watched it again like a few months ago, and I don't know if maybe I was just like in my feels that day, but like you guys, I was bawling my eyes out. I was like,
it's like
it wasn't even, it wasn't even in the moments of like when the sad stuff happens. It was just kind of like what am I gonna do with my life? You know, honestly, like if you're going through a tough time and you want to cry, like watch that movie and I swear you will cry, because like. And it wasn't even like, oh, ha, ha, ha. I was like, because like
it's
tears were going down my face.
When a movie has like one moment that kind of like hits you and it makes you think, like,
okay, but it's not even just one moment. Soul, like, is soul.
No,
it's
because it's good. But okay, it's good. But like, since I'm already like what 20, 23, like I feel like there's stuff that like I can see that's for kids. And like that is for adults, because like you wasted half the movie with him being a cat, all this stuff, blah blah blah, whatever. Because like the big message of the movie, like about enjoying life, when I'm gonna like get teary-eyed now because thinking about it, when he's like thinking about why he should enjoy his life, and he thinks because he's like, oh man, I wish I could actually go out, play with a band. And obviously, like, he finally gets what he wants, and he's like, oh, well, what now? And, like, the biggest thing is what people have mentioned, the scene where he's looking back, and he's eating the pie.
Yes.
And he's just, like, eating the pie because, like, and he's like,
okay,
oh, it's, like, the best
so,
thing.
like, in the beginning, you just see him.
What do you want?
No, don't yell at him.
Get comida.
Poo-poo. You go poo-poo?
I already took you out.
You go poo-poo?
He just wants attention. We're just talking to each other, and he's not.
Okay, let's
see.
Shh.
Where were we?
So that scene in the beginning where he, like you just kind of walk through his life, and then 22 is like this. Okay, we're veering off from Luca, but
that's
this is kind of
okay. This is a podcast now. This is a big start. Yeah, because keep going.
So when 22 is like, wow, this is your life, like, and he's like, what? Like, this isn't what I remembered. And then at the end, so there's like a picture of him like in a diner by himself just eating food, and it looks really sad. But at the end, when you see him take a bite out of that delicious looking like pie or cake or whatever, and he just takes a bite and just like enjoys it, like it's gonna make me
exactly.
See,
it's like from the outside it looks like, oh, he's just eating like he's looking at it, he's eating pie alone, whatever. But like the reason why he always goes to that diner is because that pie is so fucking good.
Yeah. Like have you ever just like, I don't know, like sometimes, like I'm a delivery driver and I spend a lot of time in the car, obviously, and sometimes like I just like look out the window, or like I'm driving and stuff, and sometimes I happen to see, like, for example, like I always drive by this field and it's always full of cows, and cows are some of my favorite animals. And sometimes I just like to slow down a little bit and just kind of like cruise like slowly, you know, by the field, and then a cow will look in my direction, and my heart is just like, oh my god, the cow just looked at me. Like, it just makes me so happy. Like, it's something so simple, but it just brings me so much joy. Like, they're so cute. Like I'm just like, oh my gosh, you're just there in a field. Like, or when I go outside and I like feed the ducks in my neighborhood, like there's so many ducks, and literally anytime I go outside and they see me with bread, they run up to me like they know me for like giving them food. Like, you know, it's like one of the cutest things, and it's just one of those things where, you know, just because you're alone doesn't mean that you're unhappy.
So yeah, I mean, I really think that it just, you know, see, and that's the difference. You know, there's different emotion about, like, you know, even like when he's talking to his mom. That's another thing too, because like when you feel trapped, like you feel like you need to do something because you need to make money, but in the end you want to do something because you enjoy it.
Yes.
That's like that hit me too, because because you're always afraid to tell your parents this is what I want to do, because they're always gonna be like, oh no, you know, it's not enough, blah blah blah. So like that's a good moment where he finally tells his mom, like, you know, like, if I don't do this, it just like, what's the point of living? Because it's like, yeah, you know, when you really think about it, you sit down, you're like, you know, one day we're gonna get old and die. So like, you know, how will we be remembered?
Yeah. So like, for example, mom, she was a teacher. She graduated from being a teacher and stuff like that, and she left it because, you know, after so many years, you just kind of, you know, get tired of your job. And now that you're going back, it's like, you know, do you want to go back because you need the money, or is it because something you really like? Because
right now she's thinking about going back, but it's definitely for the money. Because it's just today, kids are too impatient, annoying, disrespectful. So she doesn't want to deal with that. Yeah. You know, I feel like someone like me, I'm a lot younger. I'm very patient. You know, I do customer service. I could deal with kids, maybe, but she's already a lot older. She's in her 40s. So it's like, she can't deal with these disrespectful kids who, you know, hide behind the internet. They can say whatever they want and they don't have consequences. So like, you know, when you have something like her, where she's lived so much time doing one thing, it's crazy. Hold on, this is important.
Yes, to go poo-poo.
But we gotta talk about Onward.
I think we need to take a quick intermission.
Fine.
All right, so now. I thought you were faking.
What?
I thought you were faking it.
Faking what?
The laugh.
Anyway.
Because you were like, oh, ha ha ha. Oh. Bloopers.
All right, so now that we're back, we can definitely kind of finish things up. I mean, comparing those two movies is definitely a big way to kind of see just the difference in storytelling. I mean, what other Pixar movies have we gotten like recently? I guess the one before that was Onward. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And Onward was definitely different. Okay, Onward is in a weird spot too, because again, it has a weak ending, because technically, like, they arrive where they started, right? The whole adventure, and they end up back in the school. But that last message in the end, where it's like he wanted to do all this stuff with his dad, but he technically already did it with his brother. And you know, I watched that movie with my siblings, and it kind of like hit us even more, because like, you know. But that's another example of like creature in human form. Yeah. Luckily, that one was a lot more like, okay, it was like, obviously everything was normal. Like, obviously, you know, they were just mythical creatures in human form, but that didn't affect the story at all. It was just, it was really just like, you know, knowing what you have, and not like, you know, because when you think you need something, but you already had it all along. You know what I like? It's like with that movie, it makes sense for him to have magic, because like, I just don't like the fact that they made it like, yeah, they have magic and they're wizards and they're all powerful, but nobody really took advantage of that. It was just like, oh, we have light bulbs now, so you don't have to make a spell to turn light on. You can just switch turn on a switch. So it's like, you know, very modernized, but it's a really good movie, because a lot of people don't grow up with father figures or mother figures, you know, like parental figures. So, you know,
and they do happen to have that sibling relationship, and they might not realize it at first, but
right.
you know,
it's like the little things, and because it's like, I think it's like when you introduce a character that doesn't really do much, like the dad, like really the dad there the whole time was kind of like, I think the movie would have worked better if like they needed to get the stone to do this spell, because the dad, like, you couldn't talk to him, he was just some pants. Like, you could have still had the brother relationship without the dad being there. Like, let's say they finally get the stone, but it's like in the movie, it's too late. Like, they only have like until sunset, so they, because like obviously they introduced that, like, you know, sure, you know, the main character wanted to meet his dad, but he never got to, where like the brother never got to say goodbye.
Yeah,
and that was a lot better.
I really like how they did that, actually, because like, why waste a few moments of your life meeting someone you're never gonna see again, who you never met before? He's a complete stranger, really. But like, of course, the older brother, I forgot his name at the time, at the moment, but yeah, like, he already had a relationship with him. And I think it's a lot better. But I do also wish that the mom had like a moment with him too.
I guess, but she at least knew him longer. So yeah.
But it would have been nice, because she was still kind of part of the adventure. She had her own adventure.
Oh yeah, she had her adventure. Yeah, and she kind of But I kind of hate that stuff about movies now, because I was watching another show that is kind of mythical and stuff like that, but they just divide the crew. There's 3 different groups we're following, and sure, it's cool when they all meet together in the end. Like, you know, the mom finally met up with the kids and everything, but it's like you have 2 stories going on. It's like, dude, just do one big story with everybody. I hate when they split people up.
Like, why does it always have to be kids against their parents? Like, why couldn't the mom be included? Like, she could have been included.
It's
like,
her husband. She wants to see him.
Literally, yeah. Like, she could have been like telling them stories about him, like getting them to know better. Like, and it should have been that him and like the older brother and the mom got to say their goodbyes. Like, even if it's just a split moment, like, you know. That would have been really nice, you know, like, and it would have been cool, like, if they still went to the tavern and met the dragon lady, because then they could have just all been together, you know. And then the boyfriend or whatever, the half horseman, like, he could have still been part of the story the same way he was. Because
obviously, like, it's been so long. Like, usually it's okay that she remarried and everything, and he ended up helping, I think, in the end, right?
Yeah.
But you know, it's just different things that like make a movie better. I'd say between all of them, it's like probably Soul, Onward, and Luca. Well, technically for me, even though Soul was very nice, it was very emotional. I like a story with like action. So like, I think for me, Onward, Soul, and then Luca.
But it's not really fair to compare them. I mean, they're all very different stories and stuff like that. But I mean, I feel like to finish off with Luca, you know, like, I just feel like I said before, story-wise, there could have been so much more. It just, honestly, it feels like, you know how sometimes people make a movie and it's just like one of those movies that nobody really watches. It's just kind of like, you know, like for kids or whatever, like, you know, maybe they'll show it on TV or something once, but it kind of felt like that. But then slapping the Disney Pixar, like, makes you want to expect more. Like,
I think that's what it is, because for me, there's a lot of stuff Disney does that, like, I don't know. You would have think if we would have gotten this instead, it would have been much better. Blah blah. I mean, and I can't say it's Pixar, because I'm sure Disney's the same. I mean, I recently rewatched Frozen, and you know the it's a good movie. Like Frozen 2. No, that's a Disney animation movie, and so it's 2 different studios. But like Frozen 2, like, it's a fun movie, but like the singing kind of gets, like, when you're watching it multiple times, or like when you watch it after your initial watch, the songs are kind of annoying. They kind of get in your way. I mean, if it's not a song by Elsa, I tune it out. Like, Elsa has the 2 best songs in the freaking movie, and like, even the Kristoff song wasn't that good when I watched it recently. I was kind of like on my phone, and Anna's song sucks.
But you know
like,
what?
The first one is better, but
I just feel like sometimes the songs just kind of come out of nowhere.
Exactly.
With Frozen. But you know what a good movie with song is? Tangled! Oh my
Tangled?
God. Like,
okay.
that one? Like,
Tangled was good.
So
but
good.
Because there was actually like more the story and more action.
Okay. Whoever freaking says, and you can at me right, you can find me right now, but whoever freaking says that Frozen is better than Tangled can go
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Get out of town.
Because that's the thing. Because Tangled has everything. It has the music. It has the action. Because like for me, that's what I was about to say. The only good part I enjoyed about Frozen was when Elsa was trying to like figure out her powers in the ocean, and she was fighting the water spirit, the horse. Yeah. That was my favorite part. That was like so action packed. I was like, after that, I tuned it out.
Yeah.
Well, not exactly, because then it's the scene where like she like sings to herself and she like transforms, which is kind of cool too. But no. Like I just crave more action in the movie. That's why Raya is so good.
Oh yeah,
Raya's so good.
Raya, yeah.
It's not part of it.
I feel like there's parts of Raya too that
there's parts of Raya that could have been better. Like I hate the baby.
The baby, like why?
Like why? Like you could have given like the kid. I love the kid so much more than the baby.
Yes,
but that movie.
And the kid, for once, makes sense.
Yeah, it's a kid you like.
Yeah, it's a kid like you don't feel like
annoying
tagging
kid.
along. Like no, like his family got like stoned, and so he was able to escape, and he's trying to survive.
Yeah.
And, and it's not that he joined Raya joined him.
Pretty much.
So, like...
And see, that movie had a lot of heart, good fight scenes. I was like, yo, I felt the punches. These two girls, they would punch the shit out of each other.
Yeah.
Like, you'd feel it. Like, when she'd like flying dragon kick. Oh my god.
Yeah.
But then you had like the weird Disney element where it's like, again, like, with the dragon and stuff. And, it's like you just, like, it's because you had to do like one movie. But maybe in the sequel... Let what was her name again? Sisu. Let Sisu go back to being a mythical dragon somewhere. Just give me a movie with Raya and Neytiri.
Oh yeah, the other girl's name.
Yeah, like those two adventure. Like yo.
Is that a Pixar movie? I don't know.
No, that's a Disney animation movie. I know the difference, but Disney animation.
I don't know.
Pixar is usually very goofy, and then Disney is a little more like serious, or you can tell like they hardly do like recently. Like weird looking characters. I think the weirdest thing is probably like Wreck-It Ralph, because even Big Hero 6 was kind of like modernized,
Yeah, but I mean they still have like humans. They were characters, obviously.
I know, but like these humans are obviously like caricatures, not like human. Like even Frozen is a little bit already cartoony, but it's more like it's like the main. It's like the main timeline, the main line, because like Pixar is like look at Luke, it's like a cute little boy with Mr. and like Onward, all this stuff. Like it's like not really human.
Like they're still creatures.
Yeah, like Soul was kind of like that, but it was in a caricature style, and again,
like big faces, like,
and so it still looks cartoony. So you kind of like it depends, because you can still relate. Obviously, you can definitely relate to that movie, but they just waste time with like stupid stuff for like about like I just hate that they turn him into a cat and he like spends like there was so much stuff.
Like yes and no, but I think like sometimes like I do hate it because also.
Because I sat down and really thought about the movie, like, why am I wasting so much time on a character that's not even alive? It's not even born yet. Like 22? Like, give me a movie about the main character learning all this by himself. Like him really like.
But sometimes I think that's kind of the point, because sometimes you gotta see yourself from another person's perspective. You know what I mean? I think that's kind of the point, because like so like okay, like there's a scene that every time I watch it, it's kind of like, oh shit. Sorry, like if you can bleep it or whatever.
No, it's okay.
Sometimes I'm just like, oh crap, like there's a scene in Soul where like 22 is already inhabited his body and he's a cat and stuff like that, and she's basically talking about like, oh like I feel like a failure, blah blah blah. Like, why do you think you're a failure as a musician or something like that? Like, I don't remember the exact quote, but they're basically talking, and she's like, "Why do you think you're such a failure with music?" And he's like, "I've never said that. I love music, blah blah blah." But then she's like, "Yeah, it's in here," and she points to the head. Like, he obviously has these inner thoughts because maybe like he didn't get the support from his family, or like. He never got into those gigs or whatever, so internally he's like, man, I'm a failure. Like he doesn't want to admit it because he loves music, that's his passion, that's what he wants to do, but internally he's like, I've never gotten anywhere because like I'm a failure, like I've never done anything with
I'm still
my passion.
Freaking teaching school. I know what you mean.
So like with that, it's kind of like that sense where you kind of like realize things after somebody says it type of thing. Like sometimes no one is ever gonna admit to themselves like that they're a failure. Nobody ever wants to admit the bad things. It's not until somebody else says like, hey, like why do you think of yourself that way? Like what like when somebody really asks you and it makes you think and you're just kind of like, yeah, like, you know, like I just feel like I haven't been able to achieve it, you know, like maybe that's why. I don't know. Does that kind of make sense? I feel like maybe that was like the whole point of him having somebody else, like someone who's learning to be part of the world is obviously gonna have a million questions, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, and then you have to give them a proper answer, so you like kind of like give them the best one you can. Because, you know, like I think there's like little stuff that like you say, but it's not until you hear it that like you're for yourself. Like when he says like, "Oh, that's just regular old living," and then when he says it again, but like he like from the outside, and it's like, "Oh, that's just regular old living. That's like part of life." Like what did she say it was? Walking, taking a walk. Like even this discussing. Like I love to just discuss. Like I could discuss for hours about like if I could do a live stream and just like go from like Luca to freaking like what I don't know what could I
any movie
anything any movie
anything,
I could probably connect every Disney movie ever with like, you know, because after Luca and like talking about like we went from Luca to like all the way to Little Mermaid to, I mean even Little Mermaid, like to have like, you know, to want something so bad that you would trade something to get it, like your voice.
And then to realize that, you know, what you have is already really good.
Yeah. And, it's and then you
honestly,
can't even speak to the guy.
That's kind of stuff that I hate about Disney movie, and again, I haven't really watched Little Mermaid in a long time, but it's like, bro, you're a mermaid. Like, do you know how many humans would give to be in your place? And vice versa. Like, I think that's kind of the point, you know, like what you have is really valuable, you know, like people would kill to be in your place. People would kill to have some of the talents or whatever that you have, you know what I mean? Like, everyone's different. Everyone's good at everyone's really good at some things and bad at other things, but I feel like that's kind of the best part about life, because you kind of experience that through other people. You know what I mean? Like I don't know, like you were always such a really good artist, and we would always ask you to draw our things, and you know, like,
yeah, I've been taking a break, and now I think you've been drawing more. So like if anything, you know, mom's asked
really,
you
like,
for
draw,
stuff.
but like I like write, but yeah.
I've just been busy with work and trying to do other stuff that like, and I have my drawing pad here that it's just been collecting dust.
It's like, you know, when you ask a friend to do something for you because you know that they're good at it. You know, like for example, our friend Lady, she's a great photographer, so we're always like, hey, you should come and take pictures for us. You know, or you with the drawing, or me with everyone always asks me to write cards for them now, because I've been practicing like my calligraphy or whatever and stuff. But yeah, I don't know how we got into this topic, but I don't know how we got into that specific topic.
You see, that's just the thing. Like, just
regular
from one thing to another. Yeah, just talking about different stuff. But, I mean, it just depends, you know. Just so much stuff that, like, they make. For me, I would most likely probably do the same if I ever started working with them. I think that's why I want to maybe shift gears and do more story writing, because there's just so much stuff that maybe, for example, they thought it was good, because you always think that what you write is good, but then like other people have opinions. So maybe like it was a good idea. Like maybe if I, you know, make up my own movie and I think it's amazing, but people come in and say, oh, this could have done blah, 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 this and that. So yeah, I mean, but overall, that's just the magic of Disney. We started with Luca, and now we've discussed other movies and how kind of they all connect. What we would hope for in a movie. But again, you know, I'm not gonna blame Luca for anything. It's just a fun old movie.
Yeah.
So yeah, but you know, we talked for a little while. I mean, I definitely enjoyed that we kind of like went off script and kind of added more to the conversation. We can finally technically say this is my first podcast. In the Popcorn Podcast, there's definitely gonna be more for other series and maybe more Disney, Star Wars, whatever you name it, Marvel,
anything, like shows too. Like,
shows.
I also wanted to mention that I'm probably gonna be adding my own little segment to the Popcorn Podcast, because of course, John Marcos and I have different interests. You know, something that's really exciting. The new iCarly reboot just went out, and I personally really loved iCarly when I was like younger, and I did watch the episode, so I will be reviewing it and sending that memo over to John so he can share it with you guys.
We were able to watch the first episode, so all I can say is there's a lot to talk about, because it feels like nostalgic, but there's so much new stuff because we're now adults. So adults. Yeah. But yeah, I mean,
but
with
yeah,
that
so
being
there's
said,
definitely a lot more to come. You know, please subscribe, share it with your friends. Let us know what you think if you have seen the movie. Again, it's Luca on Disney Plus. If you have the subscription, I believe it's only like $8.99, and to me, it's definitely worth it. I mean, if you love Disney, like you can always watch old stuff and new stuff. And Marcos has also been reviewing Loki, the new show. I don't really watch Marvel stuff, but I've always been interested in Loki and stuff as a character. So who knows? Maybe that'll inspire me to watch all the other shows that he's in, and maybe the Avengers. But to be honest, I don't know. I'm not really like a big superhero person, but you know, who knows? But I've heard really, really good things about that show so far. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very good. I think it's definitely because we've had this whole group, like, you know, liking a certain series. So who knows? I mean, honestly, yeah, that's very well said. But hey, you know, with that being said, thank you so much for watching. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss out on anything else that I upload. And until next time, bye.